Hi Akshay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hi, Geetika.
Hi. Thank you so much for speaking with us on You're Not Alone Conversations. How's the lockdown been for you so far?
Uh, Traumatic and exciting at the same time, I think. Very different is probably the most appropriate description of how the lockdown's been.
Yeah?
Um, both professionally and personally, I think.
Hmm.
Professionally, because we've had to kind of shift entirely how we work. Both on the government sector work as well as the private sector work.
Right.
And it's meant some difficult decisions on staffing, people's salaries, wages.
Yeah.
But I think on the whole, I think quite hopeful that this period of strife is going to allow us collectively to emerge as a sort of a tighter knit, more centered community. I think so.
That's for
Interesting
sure.
times.
That's for sure. And what's happening on the personal side? You said something about traumatic experience. So is it just
no, no, I think no, I think just the just the disorienting nature of having to be at home, not see anybody. Um, you know, uh, my parents are in another city. So just not being able to help, not being able to fly down. So just sort of the isolation, less from our own perspective, because we live pretty privileged lives where everything's available, but the isolation from knowing that you can't actually show up and help. People in your family, I think, has been hard.
right?
Um, the Professionally, I think, like I mentioned, this is obviously a terrible blow economically to most businesses, and especially those such as ours, which are primarily offline.
Cool.
And we know, ethically the correct thing to do is to not open up, but that also means that it has pretty significant implications on how much we can pay teachers, how long we can pay teachers,
Right.
and so on and so forth. So that's been difficult. I
But you
think hopeful because yes, sorry, go ahead.
no, go on, go on.
No, I think hopeful because I think despite all of this, I think people are soldiering on and doing pretty amazing things. So that's giving me hope.
Of course. And you've recently adopted a whole online tutoring as well, right?
Yeah,
And how's that going for you? Like, have the kids been responding well?
yeah, quite well actually. And on the so we run these two entities, right? We run a social enterprise that works with sort of middle class kids,
Right.
and there it was more expected in the sense that. Those kids were already doing a bunch of stuff online, and kind of transitioning them to an online live class was relatively easy.
Right.
I think where it's been really surprising is on the government sector work, where the majority of our kids are, quite from the vulnerable sections of society. They're dependent on the government schools for everything from their books to having a safe space in the day to, in many cases, even food.
Right.
When the crisis kind of broke, many of us were kind of at a loss on what we could do.
Right.
But what's been quite remarkable is that kids who in our sort of our ledger when we work as a non-profit, we put down as they will have no access to the internet and devices,
Hmm.
have found access to the internet and devices and are using the content we're giving them and attending live classes. So,
Right.
for instance, over the past now 3 weeks, we've been working with this lovely, wonderful non-profit called Masoom,
Hmm.
and they run night schools for kids in Mumbai and Gujarat and a variety of other states. So these are kids who are out of school and attending night school. And
Right.
even these kids from the slums of Dharavi are, climbing up on the roof of their house, finding a, 3G connection and attending a live class and, really, really interacting quite well. So um, I think just the grit of the Indian student, and especially the low income Indian student, has been quite amazing to see.
Right.
And I think that's probably been the biggest source of joy and hope. And I think I'm coping with this largely by working more, which I
Yeah.
don't think is long term healthy. But it's one of the benefits of running a non-profit, where I think your work is a major source of happiness and joy. So that's keeping me somewhat sane.
Honestly, that's I think one of the most positive things I've heard recently. And I think what you're doing is amazing. I think they really are looking for education and the right kind of education, and the fact that you're providing that is very inspirational. So thank you for that. But okay, so my last question to you has to be, what's the one biggest learning that you've had during this lockdown period that you would sort of use in a long term in your life?
So I think personally, that, probably the biggest learning is that it's really, really important to invest in staying connected to people. I think it's, in sort of our day-to-day lives, especially I live in a city like Bombay where I spend, most of my time traveling.
Right.
What I think I've learned during the lockdown is because people are now at home, there's more time to, make for quick catch-ups, quick phone calls, and sort of those sort of more human connections, and investing in them has really helped. I think not just me, but everybody, stay centered, stay happy. So that's probably personally the biggest learning. And, I think going forward, making the effort to stay connected with friends who are abroad, friends who are not in the same city, who you don't see every day, is kind of really important. And I'll hopefully keep doing that and making time for that. I think professionally, the biggest learning has really been that, it's actually, I think we are working as a team much more effectively, where people are making a lot more time to being a lot more conscious of the fact that, people are stretched for time.
Right.
I think we're being more equitable in, how we handle differences in gender and life situations, because everybody, especially for, for staff members who are married, have kids, this has been a challenging time. And I think it's been nice to see how people are accommodating people's, varying schedules and those sorts of things.
Right.
And just the fact that you can be incredibly effective without having to do lots of meetings, lots of, investment in travel, it has been good to see. And I think we'll continue to do that going forward, be more flexible, allow people to work more from home, and more on their own schedules. So that's been good.
I think those are two very, very important key learnings, which I think a lot of us are realizing as well, especially from a work standpoint. I think the fact that we can all work from home is really going to change the work culture post the lockdown. And also for your other point, and this I think holds true for the entire world, even though we're all physically right now distancing from each other, the social connections that have increased is just amazing. And I truly hope we can all stay in touch a lot more. For people who are watching us, we hope that you know that you're not alone in what you're going through. And there is always something that you can do to keep helping the society around you and to keep bringing them joy, just like Akshay is also doing. Akshay, thank you so very much for your time and speaking with us on You're Not Alone Conversations. And I'll speak to you soon. Stay
Yeah.
safe.
Thanks, Yuthika. Good to
Thanks.
catch up.
See ya.
Bye.